welcome once again to the town hall meeting. So today we have a little exercise that we would like for everybody to participate in. And to kick it off, let's do an emoji mood check. So this is where you put in an emoji of how you feel right now in the chat box. Then we see how many people will be putting in smiley emoji, excitement. It could be any emoji that describe how you feel. So you could start putting in your emoji in your chat. Wow, I can see one already. You're excited. Ayo, you are so excited. Oh my goodness.
Kenneth is desperate.
So much laughter.
Kenn, don't worry. Kenn, we got you. We got
Kenn,
you.
by the end of the meeting, I'm sure you'll be fine, okay? Miriam is in heaven. Miriam's emoji shows she's in heaven.
Judith is upside
Hi,
down.
Judith.
I think it's the wind,
I
right?
don't understand this emoji.
It's the storm wind. It's the storm. It's the storm.
Clement, you'll be fine. Clement, you'll be fine, okay? By the end of the meeting, you'll be fine. Joanna, yes, I think it's Joanna. Yes, you'll be fine. Oh my God, who is freezing? Someone
That's
is freezing.
Mayor. That has to be Mayor.
Hi, Israel. Israel is smiling. It's good we are having a good vibe. Everybody is in a good mood. Well, majority of us, we are in a good mood. So it's good. We could still continue. We could keep it going. I can see a love emoji.
Love. Oh, Anthony with a love.
Yes. So please, you could keep it going. We could keep it going just for everybody to feel whatever you are feeling, sharing the laugh, sharing the smile, the excitement, the freezing and all. We are ready for it. And we hope that by the end of this meeting, everybody will be feeling good and excited, ready for what is up, maybe for tomorrow or the weekend, preparing for that as well. Thank you all for participating.
All right.
Rafael, over to you.
Let's go. Well, thank you for putting your emojis. It's a nice way that doesn't force you to talk. Rafael, Presa, you're already too late. You forgot your emoji. But welcome to the call as well. So let's start with the typical presentation about what is deep funding and why we are all here in a Thursday night. Let me share my screen for all of you. And thank you, Priska, as well, for your first time speaking on the town hall. I hope it is the first of many, and that soon you guys will all substitute me, and I'm not needed anymore, and I can go to the beach on holidays and lie and rest, watching this town hall. But meanwhile, let's go on with it. Thank you all for being here. Today is the town hall, and today we have a really nice agenda. We'll have some updates on the BGI round. Of course, we'll have here this presentation about what is deep funding. We'll also have some results from the analysis of the data analytics circle on the repetition model. I'm already moving forward. Shouldn't be like that. Wait a minute. We have a presentation by Kenn with a very mysterious topic, the arc of futurism at SingularityNET. So it's a surprise. And finally, we have the AI4Peace initiative. Really exciting. We'll save one of the very interesting things we have today for last, and hopefully a big opportunity for the community. At least I was in a call about it, and it's very, very exciting from what I heard. But meanwhile, what is deep funding? Well, deep funding is a decentralized grants program that is tasked to fund projects and initiatives that are beneficial to SingularityNET and the mission that is the creation of a democratic, decentralized, and beneficial AGI. And we are doing that also through the different services and the SingularityNET marketplace and the different spin-offs. And in terms of values, I think values are very important. And for our community, we just think openness, creativity, collaboration, and kindness are really important values. And this is how we operate. And if you appreciate these values, then you're an amazing fit for this community. And deep funding, being a decentralized grants program, has a lot of community input, is a community-run program in many ways, and we need you. You know, we need you to come here to make your proposals. We need you to vote as well in the rounds, in the best proposals. We really appreciate everyone who's looking at these proposals, who's reviewing them and seeing how it fits into this goal we have, and also giving advice to our proposers on how they can improve. And then, of course, you can come here to these calls, you can come to the Open All Ends, our governance call, and be part of the discussion and actually participate in what should be the next steps for deep funding in everything that is happening. And there's a lot happening. And finally, you also have the circles, which, for example, we are one circle. There is the marketing circle, there is operations, review. These are just community members that help execute important tasks to move this program forward. So if you really want, you can join us and I'll show you how. But in the town hall, this is the place for you to speak, ask questions, and just start your deep funding journey. So at any point, feel free to unmute, feel free to raise your hand and speak, ask your questions. We'd love to hear from you. In fact, the more voices we have, the better. Finally, of course, if you want to just connect with Deep Funding and stay on top on everything that's happening, you have here the community website in this QR code. You can scan it. There you can see all the circles and you can apply to join the circles in case you want to participate more actively. You can also see all the events we have, book presentation slots in events such as this one. And you can also keep track of all the work that is being done by the community and by all the circles. And as we mentioned, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have presentations from you. If you're a circle member, if you're not, no matter what, if you're here in this community, if you're in this call, please feel free to book some time. Talk about anything you believe that is important and that is connected with deep funding. We would love to hear. And I think we can move forward now with the town hall, and we can start probably with the BGI round updates. Let me see. Let me stop sharing and see if we have someone from the BGI team here, or if it's you, Rafael, that will be speaking. Not sure. If not, we can move forward as well.
Sure. Yeah, I think it would be me. But first, I'd like to make some quick announcements or information for the community around the RFPs that were selected. I know if we have teams here, I know you are very, very keen to submit your milestones. And by today, the end of the day, we are going to update our system. And why that? Why is that? Why it took some time? Because we are handling the contracts at this point. But we are going to push forward anyways for you all to submit the deliverables that you might have in your hands. And soon we are going to distribute the contracts for signature as well. For the first time, probably being an automated process, as we are also automating this, given the fact that it is less prone to errors, but also because we are having a lot of new projects that we are onboarding and going through the process. So yeah, I also would like to thank you, the operations circle automation, which are fulfilling an ancient dream of mine of having this process automated. So yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for your patience as well, if you are an awarded team that's waiting for submitting your proposal, your milestone, okay? On the two RFPs that we have with proposals at this stage, we are starting the review process also next week. It's also a different process. It's previous from the first batch of SNET RFPs that we had, but we are going to start next week with the reviews and final selection for you. We are talking about the two RFPs, the reputation one and the DDI RFP, okay? A lot of things going on, so yeah, and we are working hard to make everything run smoothly, okay? So again, thank you for your patience. And yes, another moving part in deep funding is the BGI Nexus round, which, as you know, we had many submissions, 91 to be more precise. And as you remember, The first stage of this process after submission was the community BGI review, where they've narrowed down the numbers of proposals to 56, from 91 to 56, given the criteria. Afterwards, it went through the analysis or technical analysis from the technical reviewers, expert reviewers in deep funding, experts in AI, which went from 56 to 20 proposals. So the quality bar is high, definitely, because we are willing to have high quality projects being funded by deep funding or partners, in this case, BGI Nexus. We have this commitment with the community, not only deep fundings, but also SingularityNET, and we are with this total process for having the best ones, and also to give the assurance, or at least, well, a high level of assurance to the voters that they can definitely vote. Yes, Abdurrahman, exactly. We are aiming for quality. The quantity can come on the submissions, but we are definitely aiming for quality. And yeah, the voters can be with a high level of certainty that they are not voting for a project that can't be delivered, or if it's delivered, it will be with a low quality and so on. Okay, that's the level of commitment that we are willing to have with this community here. So again, from 91 to 56, from 56 to 20, we are still having this today. The opening, we are sending the emails to those that were rejected in the technical review. That means 36 projects will be contacted today with the possibility of appealing on that scenario, on that review process, the filtering on technical. Again, only the technical one. This was decided on the beginning because we were not sure about the number of projects that we would have, the proposals, and the proposal, but then it would be only one reviewer per proposal. Therefore, the need of an appeal process. In the end, we managed to onboard enough expert reviewers, and we had 3 reviewers per proposal, so a total process as well, really experts. And for a moment, we considered not opening for appeal this process because we already have 3 people, 3 experts going through the proposal, but we decided to keep this appeal process for, well, better understanding, okay? Again, as soon as we receive the email with the report on why you were not recommended or rejected at this point, you have 48 hours to give your answer if you want to. Okay, then we are going to analyze, and by Monday, we are going to have the final decision on which projects are approved, which projects are rejected, and going through the next phase, which would be the awareness week, where the event circle here will have a very important role in working on the spotlight days and so on, so on. You are going to receive the information in an email by Monday, okay? And the subsequent week will be the voting week. That's the main updates on the BGI round, Rafael, and we are very glad with the proposals that we received, really good stuff.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Rafael. Also, there are questions, please. Now is the time about anything that was mentioned, and a lot was mentioned. So please feel free. And picking up on what Rafael has said, Spotlight Day on the same time, Thursday next week at 6 p.m. UTC. We'll have the spotlight of the proposals, the final proposals that passed the review process. So definitely, come watch what's being built there, and come also get informed, because then there will be a voting process, and yeah, it's good to take advantage of the spotlight days to see what people are doing, ask some questions if you have them, and get more informed about these proposals to make an informed voting decision. Well, there are some questions in this chat with Patrick. Patrick is asking which proposals RFPs are these that are undergoing technical review. Sorry if it was already said. It was a lot of information at once.
Yeah, no, sorry, sorry. I am sorry, Patrick. I am sorry. Indeed, it's good to separate. The technical review that I was mentioning the latter, is about the BGI round. Okay, so it's not an RFP. In Deep Funding, we are having many formats of funding. One of the formats are the RFPs. The other format is rounds, regular rounds, where we have applicant submission of proposals, we assess and give the funds. But we are also going, and it's the first time that we have a new format, which is a round, not RFP, a grants round, but with a partner. And this partner is BGI Nexus. So that's the one that we are, that I was talking. But I talked before, yes, about the RFPs, the first batch of RFPs that we had a few months ago, which are already delivering some deliverables, right, of their milestones. And the second topic of RFPs are those that were applied on the reputation RFP and DDI RFP, which we have Joanna here, which is also involved, but not sure if it's the case for her to talk. Okay, then we have these 3 separated topics, okay? I try to speak fast because I want to give the floor to the ones that are going to make the talks now, but I hope it's clear now for you. If it's not, let me know and let's clarify. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Patrick, for the question. Definitely, that's the way to go. And also, thank you for the clarification, Rafael. And also, don't mind taking your time. You know, one of the things people enjoyed about the town hall in the feedback survey was getting informed about what is going on. So definitely also important to not leave that part, you know, to keep pushing on that part, because I think that's one of the things that is most appreciated by the community. But yeah, if there's no more questions about this topic, if there's anything else, if there is, please, now is the time. If there's not, Nick, go ahead.
I have yeah, I mean, so I don't know, maybe this is not the right forum to ask about specific RFP projects. If so, please let me know. But so I'm we were granted this last round a couple of months ago, and I'm still waiting for the signing of contract, and I'm just wondering if this is normal time duration for that, because yeah, basically I'm trying to put together like collaborations around my projects with other people and potential stakeholders, and yeah, basically people are wondering a bit, so I need to say something about it to maintain the momentum of the project, basically. So I'm just wondering, is this normal, like to wait 3 months for the contract?
Okay, Nils.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, and sorry again, because it was my first topic when I said about the contracts of RFPs. It's exactly about what you're asking. We are having some changes in Deep Funding, SingularityNET. Therefore, it took longer time for this. It's not a regular time frame of 3 months or so, okay? That's why, given the fact that we understand that you have to take care of your matters, but also the start the process of development, we are opening the system for you to be able to deliver your milestones, okay? In the case of the contract itself, we understand how important it is. And we are only, it's a tiny thing, legal, that we are discussing now. And as soon Unfortunately, I can't give you 48 hours, 1 week, or something like this for you to be to be more detailed about. But you will receive the contract, okay? But given the fact that we are going through these changes, it's taking longer. One thing is you
I
can.
just want to know like what to expect, or like actually what to tell other people to expect about the time frame. So that would be great.
I can't give you a certainty, but this next week we are going to probably have this contract being delivered to you. Okay, as I mentioned, we are also automating the process, so it's going to be even easier and smoothly for you to sign your contract, review, and etc. Right? Not 100% because lawyers, right? So just kidding. But we have to be thorough and careful when doing such contracts. Again, especially under the changes that we are going through. Okay, but I understand your question and also your desire in knowing when it's going to be out.
Yeah, I'm asking also because there were some specific questions about the milestones, but I guess I'll yeah, I'm trying to sort that out now with some contacts I have at Singularity, but I haven't got any response there for about a week or more. So it's
Okay.
it would
In that
good
case,
to
in the case of milestones, we can definitely try to solve these. We don't have to have the contract, okay? For that, if you are in facing some challenges
I
in
mean,
reaching out.
it seemed like it could be a blocker somehow to the contract. That's what was my question. If it's a blocker to the contract that the milestones are not sorted out.
No. It's not about your milestones. If that's what you are thinking,
Yeah,
it's about the contract itself. Okay. But
okay,
if you
good.
if you are willing to change any milestone or you were requested to change milestones, just reach out to me on Mattermost and then we can solve this quickly as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was requesting to change milestones actually, making them more better basically for everybody, I believe.
Okay, but it's not the case that it's not why it's taking longer. Okay.
Okay, thank you for answering that.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Niels. And I guess if you want to change milestones, definitely better to to send that message also so that you guys can coordinate. I think there's a change process and all that, right, Rafael? So yeah, you'll have to go through that. And thank you for the question. Well, that being said, if there's more questions, feel free to raise your hand at any point, and like Niels did. If not, let's move forward, and let's move forward. I think with the data analytics circle presentation with Israel. I believe it's you, right, Israel?
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you ready? Do you need a co-host? I think you do, right? Go ahead.
All right. Thank you. So I'll welcome once again everyone to the town hall. So I would like to share my screen to get started with I believe we can all see my screen. Please can I have a thumbs up if I can if you can see my
I can.
All right. So today we're going to be looking at the voting analysis reports that we, the data analysis team, we came up with using this community engagement tool provided by Photrek. And I believe this tool has been talk of town since round 4. And we've trying to like look into it, get to understand how it works with several testing and to compare the results based on the old algorithm and the new algorithm, right? So today we're going to be like looking at the in-depth analysis of the results using this tool. So, and there are 3 major aspects that the analysis report covers, which is the voting trends, the community engagement scoring, the grading distribution, and the impact of this new reputation-based voting algorithm. So, and the main essence of all this is to be able to provide and drive a data-driven perspective for future funding rounds. All right. So, let me just minimize this, put this aside. Okay, so what are the key findings in this aspect? The first thing we looked into is the overview of the awarded proposals, how many proposals were awarded, and in total, we have 29 proposals were awarded funding in round 4, with diverse amounts requested and received. So, and in the total voter counts that were unique for all of these people we have in total is 102 voters, which means for each of the proposals, they have their voting counts out of 102 voters. All right. And the average votes per proposal here is 35.72 votes on average, which means for each of the proposals that were awarded, average votes for their proposal was on average level, we have just 35.72 votes. And we also have the average requested amount, which means on average, what is the amount that was requested by each of these proposals? On average, we have $49,577. And we also have the average grade score to be 7.27 as the average grade score. So this grading score varies from the minimum and the maximum of 6.50 and 9.1, with a standard deviation of 0.1, indicating a moderate spread in the evaluation score. So these are the overview of what the awarded proposal is all about. So we have the average proposals, we have votes per proposal, we have the average requested amounts, and we also have the average grade score. The grading score, the voting distribution and engagement trend, which is the next thing I'm going to be discussing right now, is that I'm just going to explain how it both captures from the voting, the votes per proposals we have, which I mentioned 35.7 on average, the minimum votes, which means for the awarded proposals with a minimum vote of 24 and a maximum vote of 48, which means out of all the 29 awarded proposals, we have a minimum votes per proposals to be 24 for a proposal, and we also have a maximum to be 48. So all proposals received votes from a total 102 unique voters, which indicates a strong participation in this round, right? And distribution of the votes per proposal shows variation, but most of the proposals received between 30 to 40 votes, which means from the look of the distribution for the votes per proposals, we have most of the proposals as higher votes within the space of 30 to 40. All right, so that's what it means. So for the second part, which is the funding request versus the voting patterns, we have the requested funding amounts varied wildly, with some proposals requesting as low as $5,000, while others sought $120,000. So in my findings, we got to discover that there's not really a strong correlation between the amount that was requested by each of these proposals and their numbers of votes, which means that their voting does not influence the amounts in a nutshell. So the voter preferences were influenced by other factors beyond the requested amount, which means if a proposal asks for, let's say, $120,000 and they have voting of 38, and we have another proposal that has more than that, so it's not a criteria like that really based on that, okay, you must have a particular amount of votes for you to have this social amount allocated to you. So there's not really a strong correlation to that. All right. So let's deep dive into the main parts of the report, which is the visual insight I'm going to be showing us. And at the same time, I will explain as we move forward. So these are the visuals generated to illustrate the key findings. The number one we have here is the distribution of votes per proposals. So this is an histogram that spread across votes by the numbers of frequency, which means for every vote per proposal that has, let's say 25 proposals, maybe just two awarded proposal as that, right? For the ones that have, let's say 30 votes per proposal, which means 6 in this case, and so on and so forth. That's what you're currently looking at right here. So we have, I think for the votes per proposals and the awarded proposals that eventually got funded, we have higher chance of the frequency of 30, which means we have about 6 proposals that has that amount of votes. All right. So the second one here is funding request by the votes received. So this scatter plot right here highlights that funding requests did not strongly affect vote counts. I said that earlier right here, that irrespective of the amounts you requested for as a proposal, or your proposal requested for any amount, it does not really affect your votes counts. So there's not really a strong bond that makes this thing together that, oh, you must have this particular amount of voters for you to have this amount of requested amount rather. So which means for all the awarded proposals, there is no strong correlation in between the amounts they requested and the numbers of voters. So there are other factors that are beyond those two, which means you must, okay, we are not saying that you must have a particular amount as requested amount and votes, but there are other factors to it, which I'm still going to mention that along the line. All right. So right here, we have the heat map of the community engagement score correlation. This is a relationship between different grading levels. So this helps us to like identify what are the weak and the strong relationship we have in between the gradings. And by the way, this is for the new algorithm, just like I mentioned, that we're trying to do a test based for the new reputation and the old algorithm with the new algorithm, just to see how both works hand in hand in this particular round. So looking at what you have here, this is a heat map that shows the average grade without reputation and the average grade which cut across all the grading levels. So the red here, I'm going to explain what this heat map is currently showing us. So the red here is showing
Israel, are you speaking? I cannot hear you.
Yeah, I think it's reception, probably.
Okay, can you hear me
Yeah.
now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, so the color representation, red, they are closer to 1.0 here, and you can see just the diagonal part of it. It shows a strong positive correlation, which means that when one grade goes up, the other tends to go down. While the blue close to the 1.0 minus 1.0 is a strong negative correlation, which also means that when we have one grade goes up, the other tends to go down. So it's vice versa. So the red, one step up, then the other tends to come down. And for the blue, one step down, right? Oh, sorry, one step up, and the other tends to what? Go down. So for each of these rows that you see here, the labels from grade 1, grade 2 to grade 10 represent different community engagement grading levels in the data, in the results that this tool generated. And the average grade without reputation, which is the first one you see here on this line, refers to the average grading without taking reputation score into account, which means this was calculated without reputation score, while the average grade 2 that you can see here, right, like is in some forms of reputation weighting, which means reputation weighting was added to this. So that's the differences. All right. And the grade sum, right, refers to the total of all grading level. So the presence of the average grade without the reputation and with the reputation suggests that if we are comparing this, if we are comparing the community engagement score with the reputation effects, the correlation between them, which is like 0.9, as you can see here, look at here, 0.9 here and 0.9 here as well, which means that adding the reputation does not influence the score, but does not also drastically change them. So as you can see, they have a strong correlation, which means it does not really affect any changes in this calculation. All right, that's enough about that. So let's run quickly to the next one. We have the community engagement average grade per proposal. And what this is simply highlighting for us is that, as you can see here, we have all the 29 proposals. These are all the 29 proposals on this x-axis, and we have their average grade. For the first one here, we have 9.11 as the average grade, right in the data as well. This is just the graphical representation of what it looks like. So I think that's the highest we have in this case. All right. So the community engagement average grade is just the numerical rating given to each of these proposals based on the expert review and community engagements. I'm going to take that again. So this grade that you see here, I can also show us from the data which we have here. So basically, this is the results that the community engagement scoring tool generated. We can see all the proposals, right, and their proposal ID, each of the pools they belong to, and we have, just like I said, their average grade for each of them. So back to this. So it highlights each of the proposal that's performed under the community engagement scoring system. So proposal with higher grades may have received more attention and funding. So if you are wondering, like, okay, how's this result being generated, is more of two criteria: average grade of 6.5, and you must have 1% of voting based on the current logic that is working in the system, right? And with all that put together into the back end, we're able to come out with this result provided by the tool for us to see clearly that all of these awarded proposals as beyond 6.5, right? And also as at least 1% of the voting of all the unique voters. All right. So the distribution of the average grade that you're looking at here, which is the next one I'm going to discuss, that correlates with what I have here, is just saying that it shows that if you look at this chart, it's a little bit right skewed, which indicate that most of the proposals that you see above here add above the average grade. I mentioned that earlier. So like I said for the average, we have minimum of 6.0 to the maximum of 9.1, which we have on average 7.71, right? I mentioned that at the beginning of this report. So this suggests that the CES tool algorithm effectively balance the extreme evaluation and help us maintain a fair grading system. So as you can see here, most of the proposals you see above here, the list you can see, I think 6.3, which is this. For the highest one, we have 9.11, and so on and so forth. All right. So the outliers that exist in between this indicately, like it's showing particularly for the strong projects, maybe those ones that add higher priorities, attentions to, and all of that, which are factors to it. But in a nutshell, what I'm saying is most of the proposals that you see there are considered based on those factors. The average or above the average of 6.5 and also 1% of the voting of the unique voters we have there. So let's go quickly to the relationship between the voting, grading, and funding. So I'm going to just go straight to the chart and explain what it's showing. So we can see this scatter plot here that shows the correlation between the voting per proposal and the average grade. Just like we mentioned earlier that there is a moderate positive correlation of this amount, 0.4, meaning that the proposals with higher grade tends to receive more votes. And I can show us that from this data, from this result, all of these proposals that you see here, for the first 1 year, we have 41 votes per proposals, all right? Which means out of 102, 41 people vote for these proposals. So it shows that there is, the higher the proposal or the higher you receive a vote, there is always your grade will also, it will have effect on the grade. And I can show us that as well from here. You see, 41 votes per proposal, and we have the average grade of 9.11. Let's pick another one. Let's pick another one. For this, you can see we have 8.0 as the average grade. So there's a strong positive correlation between them. And this suggests that the community sentiment and the grading algorithm are generally aligned. So what the community engagement scoring is simply saying here is that there's a fair balance to it. When you have votes that are higher, then it's expected that your average grade should also be higher. So that's the correlation. And if you look at these charts, the dots represent for each of the votes, right? And how they correlated with the average grade. All right. So for the one that I said 41, look at it here. This dot right here is showing that 9.11, and it has a vote per proposal of 41. The next one is requested amounts for the by the average grade as well. I mentioned earlier that there is no strong correlation between either you requested a large amount as a proposal or for your proposal and the average grade. So it indicates that larger funding requests do not necessarily result higher grades. Okay, which means if you request for higher amounts, does not necessarily say, okay, determines how your average grade is going to turn out to be. So this supports the fairness of this tool and does not favor any high proposal. So irrespective of the amount that is requested or the amount that is asked for, your grade, your votes does not have effect on that. We have some proposals in the general data. This is just the results. Just like I said earlier, this is just the result of the awarded votes, of the awarded proposals. From the general data, we have that we have all the information for each of the pools and all the proposals under each of these pools. We have some of them that asked for higher amounts, but their votes is little. The average grade is high as well, but does not have a positive correlation between them. And we can see that from this look of this chart. We can see below $2,000 here, we have tons of average grade here. And we just have few towards the higher parts of things. All right. So the next one is the votes per proposal by the requested amounts. So vote per proposal by the requested amounts, it shows a moderate correlation of these amounts, suggesting that the proposal requesting larger amounts attracted slightly more voters' engagement, though the effect is not strong enough to indicate bias. So just like I said earlier, don't get me wrong, which means if a proposal is asking for higher amounts, does not necessarily mean that it will be given. There are other factors to it. You must have a very good amount of votes, right? And you must also have a very good average grade. So this is simply saying that the amounts you have and the voting engagement, the effect is not strong. So it cannot give us bias. So these two typically paint it to us that there is no any amount you requested for that has to do with your votes or that has to do with your grade. All right. So these are just a distinct factors to it. So right now we have the comparison of the new algorithm versus the old algorithm. although there's an ongoing blog post I'm currently writing separately to show or to describe this in a comprehensive way, right? The comparison between the old and the new algorithm based on the testing of the round 4 results we have. So if you look at this histogram here, it's showing the compare of the distribution of the average grade under the new and the old algorithm. The new, the orange, the yellow is the old algorithm. So as we can see here, the new algorithm appears to produce a wider spread of average grades, which means that some proposals receiving significant higher score compared to others. So in the new algorithm, we see that it spread across from, let's say, 5.5 down to these parts we have here. You can see 5.5 here down to this part. While in the new, in the old algorithm, you can see that the average grade started from 3 down to 9. So the old algorithm has a slight more concentrated distribution, which means everything is more uniformed in the old algorithm compared to the new algorithm. We see a lot of proposals in using the new algorithm. They force significantly towards the higher grade part of things. That's what it means. So this is something we observed. I can say that this is like a key observation for us when we are writing this report, that the new algorithm is leading to more refined differentiation between proposals compared to the old one. And as you can see here, this is also for the distribution of votes between the old and the new. So we look at here, we look at the average grade. Right now, we want to look at the votes. How does it play out in the votes? The same way we have the new algorithm, you know, you can see the new algorithm here is showing
Would it
a
be
wide
possible to
spread.
pause here for a minute? Because
Okay.
I'm looking at your chart, but I see it, if you go back to the previous one,
Okay.
my interpretation would be different. It looks to me like the older algorithm has a wider distribution of grades, and the new algorithm, for some reason, is more concentrated. Do we have the colors right? Is orange the new algorithm?
I think I think I would need to iterate this. The color, I think the color differences. The old one should be for the orange, while the new one should be for the yellow, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake on my part. Sorry about
Okay,
that.
fine.
I clicked on that and yeah, check back. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
All right,
Thank you
fine.
very much, Kate. All right. So for the votes parts, the new algorithm here has a wider spread of votes per proposals. As you can see, we have numbers of proposals and the numbers of votes compared to each other right here, suggesting that the voter engagement is more variable, is not constant. We have it all spread across. And if you look at the new algorithm, we have it to be, for the old one, we have it to be more concentrated, which implies that we have more even distribution of votes across proposals. So we can see that irrespective of your proposal, you have access to, or you have more votes compared to somebody that may be requesting for this amount or not this amount. It doesn't matter. So far that you have the numbers of proposals, numbers of votes you need to have, all right? So the key observation here is that there are higher vote counts in the new algorithm, because just like I showed us in this result, we have, for some of these awarded proposals, they have higher votes in this. The list of the numbers of votes we have here, the list is 24, which means the minimum numbers of votes per proposal we have for each of them is 24, while the highest, which is the maximum, is 48. That is to say that in the new algorithm, some proposals, certain projects gained more attention, which means if you have higher numbers of proposals, higher numbers of votes rather, I beg your pardon, higher numbers of votes, you get to pay, they get to pay attention to you, because remember the criteria, 1% of the votes of all the total numbers of the unique voters, and also the average grade is very, very important. So which both the new algorithms still stick to. But we can see that the difference is clear that in the new one and in the old one, there are higher votes count in the new algorithm compared to the old one. So in summary, the insight from this new algorithm we just compare with the old one, we observe that introducing this has impacted a final ranking by the weighting votes based on reputation, which is very, very important. Because it is very, very important that we have not only the requested amount or numbers of voters, there are other factors to it, the community engagement review and expert review rather, and other factors like that. So this tool has prevents score manipulation. So it makes it more dependable that we can prioritize if a proposal is doing well, it makes it more reliable or measure for the community sentiments, basically. So for a proposal to be awarded, higher participation of votes is very, very crucial. So between the score and the grade you have, it demonstrates that voters with higher reputation weights influence the results more than less engaged participants. So it's not like we're trying to prioritize based on the name or the amount they requested for. I mentioned all of that earlier, but this tool is saying that the votes with higher reputation weights, all right, influence the result more than the less engaged one. That's why you could see in the results we have here that all of these, right, proposals as those qualities, all right, as those quality, they have a good vote per proposal, they have a good grade, which means they are expected to be awarded. So what are the impact of this tool and the new algorithm? In a nutshell, the new algorithm effectively balanced the scoring, the engagement scoring with fairness, ensuring that well-supported proposal gain higher visibility without skewing, all right? Which is what I explained earlier, and I just showed us that in the data as well. The grades were relatively stable, all right? We can see that differences between the average grade. We demonstrate that reputation scoring and engagements, the engagement scoring were key influences in the voting outcome. And lastly, the new algorithm enhanced transparency, which is one of the key factors to it. At the end of the day, we want to be able to see a final awarded proposal showing a mix of small and large funding requests. So I can say that the result here, we can see that we have requested amount of 5,000, 9,000, 19, and the likes. So it does not really mean that, oh, because you have a funding of this amount and these numbers of votes means that you'll be considered. No, there's a balance to it. There's a transparency to it that there's a mix of the small amounts and the large amount funding that proves that no single factor dominated these results. So finally, I would like to round up here and say this tool, the SES tool, has successfully differentiated proposal in a way that better reflects the voter reputation and engagements. These are very crucial part of the determinants for any awarded proposals, which this tool has demonstrated that for us to see that there's a different and flexible way that reflects the reputation scoring and the engagements. Number two is we have to say that this is a very good tool to consider for the future rounds, okay? And as time goes on, there will always be improvements, further refining majorly the weighting system to ensure that the fairness cuts across different proposal type. So irrespective of the pool or irrespective of the proposals or what it's all about, we can always make it better when it comes to refining the weighting system and all of that. So additionally, insight could be gathered by analyzing individual voter behaviors and impact on final rankings, which means that we can also consider looking at individual voters' behavior, although that could be a little bit strenuous when it comes to like checking each of these proposals, their voters' behavior, and all of those things. But everything put together has been integrated into the back end of this tool, and that's what we are seeing as the results, right? I personally tested it too, and I could really say that this is powerful and reliable to use in our future rounds. So given the results I showed us earlier, that we can continue using this tool for future rounds, just like I said, it appears to have a strong and approach to funding allocated effectively without bias, I must say. With the results compared with the old, the public data compared with the old algorithm and the new algorithm that applies to this, we could say that this tool has powerfully displayed something we can leverage on, right, for the future rounds. So thank you very much. So
All right. Thank you, Israel, for your presentation and for all the work. Great job. Thank you as well to Photrek for the development of the tool. And it's also a great time for questions. Does anybody has any questions you'd like to ask Israel or Photrek?
Well, I just say I really appreciate the analysis, and of course, we appreciate the compliments. I'm really glad to hear, and congratulations to Joanna and Igor and Dominic. They were the ones that really worked on this very directly. So, really appreciate the efforts, and thrilled to hear that the community appreciates it.
Yeah, I also want to thank Israel. I know it's we definitely thank you for being patient while we figured some things out, but you're definitely a pleasure to work with, and thank you for that deep analysis. We appreciate it.
thank you, Joanna. Thank you for helping out in this process. And I don't know, is Dominic here? Thank you to Dominic for helping me through. And it was really, really a great improvement testing this tool with you. And I can really say this is good too.
All right.
Dominic's living in Thailand this year, so I think he's sleeping right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's late in Asia, for sure.
Okay.
All right. I have maybe a quick question, Israel. I've seen it felt like the analysis was a lot on the funded projects. Did you also add an analysis on the projects that were not funded, and what were the effect on those?
For now, we've not carried out any analysis based on the proposals that were not funded, right? But it's something that we can consider, right, to look into. We can carry out some analysis and look at the defects of what could be the outcome of them, right? Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and I know it's a lot of work, so definitely something to consider. Yeah. Also, Guillermo is asking in the chat if there is some analysis on down voting, on like voting with negative rates. I don't think so, right? Because it's not the purpose, maybe. I don't know. Tell me.
I don't really understand the question. Is he asking based on
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Guillermo, can you elaborate? Is like you want to see, you would like an analysis to see what is the effect of down voting, or if there was like some extreme down voting. Is that it? Something like that?
Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry, it's too loud
Yeah.
on the background. Yeah, previously we tend to use on round 3, which was, I think, if I'm not wrong, Rover has knowledge graph, where we were able to evaluate and detect downvoting strategy for some members or some on the voting process. So I was wondering, as it was still in place in this round 4, was any detailed analysis on any malintentioned activities between members, as has occurred before. Yeah, that was just curious
maybe
about
I could I address that a little bit? And then
All right,
maybe
I can read.
Israel has some analysis too, but there's not downvoting per se, right? In the way we do the rankings, you can rank projects from a scale of 1 to 10. So 1, yes, is a downvote, but it's a scale. So I guess maybe in some future analysis, Israeli could look at the projects that didn't get funding, and those presumably got lower scores. But the other thing I would say is in the future work of this round, Photrek did complete in Fund 4 simulations showing that there would be some benefits to switching from a score from 0 to 10 to the quadratic voting mechanism, where you essentially distribute your voting credits across the proposals you're interested in. And the more voting credits you put on a particular proposal would be the effect of your score. But the intent is to reduce the ability to do kind of extreme opinions, because now if you're extreme on one proposal, that gives you less credits to voice an opinion about another proposal. And we did get positive feedback from both the community and the SingularityNET leadership, so that's built into the RFPs that are now people have put proposals into. And so we're hoping to be able to move forward with those new capabilities in the near future as well.
Great, thank you, Kenrick.
All right, awesome. Thank you, guys. If there's any more questions, please feel free. If not, big thank you to Israel, to the Data Analytics Circle, and to Photrek. And let's move forward with Kenn. Kenn, sorry to keep you waiting.
No, that's fine. I'll need to recharge my water, I think, at some point after this session. So thank you for inviting me to speak here. My proposal, or my presentation, is of a different trajectory. It's essentially a description of how do you go from a small territory, pre-intensely technological, even pre-internet, to trying to reach the stars through the development of futuristic technologies that can also express an artistic impulse. It's my perspective as an artist that that method of communication, of course, is proven timeless. It's been with us from the beginning. So is there any merit in examining what my arc has been to go from point A to point B to the present, and how has SingularityNET influenced the opening up of those possibilities of a future participating in technology and participating in art to do something meaningful, to be around interesting people. So I will try to give you an overview. It'll be from a personal perspective, but hopefully not too personal, and hopefully interesting as well. So I'll just share this screen. So you do screen 1. By way of background, I come from this tiny little peninsula on the edge of Canada, where none of the rock bands would ever go when they're traveling, doing the touring. That's called Halifax, Nova Scotia. And you can see here what an incredible megapolis it really is. This is Halifax around the 1980s. It's a coastal town. It has a strong, long venerated nautical history. My own uncle arrived here as a 9-year-old person. I have to try and reach around the UI of Google. Okay, so he arrived on a boat at a place called Pier 21 as a 9-year-old kid. He grew up in England. His father was a groom. He took care of horses and got remarried, and then carted off his kid to Nova Scotia. At the time, there was a program called Home Children, where kids that could not be provided for or were, the parents had other plans for could, for a small fee, send them to Nova Scotia to be rehoused. And that's what happened to my grandfather. As he grew up, he later returned to England and fought in the First World War and met his wife there in fancy Malvern. So in my case, I grew up in the late 80s and 90s, essentially, for high school and college. And fascinating fact, these tiers or these steps in the development of my becoming an adult also coincided with recessions in Canada and worldwide. So when you come from a small territory, you come from a family that hasn't built generational wealth, you grow up in a period of time where there are regular recessions when you leave high school, when you leave college, when you're ready to enter the workforce. What do you do? So what affected a lot of my perspective, I'll try and bring this down a bit here, right, was a, see if I, this Peace Pavilion. Halifax being a coastal town, I could go to the waterfront and then see across the water on a good day to Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And it was once joked between the mayors of the two, the mayor of Halifax, the main city, would ask the mayor of Dartmouth, well, the Dartmouth mayor would ask, what do you like about our place? And the Halifax mayor would say, the view of our city, Halifax. So there's a bit of a rivalry. But this pavilion is inscripted with, may your vision be world embracing. And myself, having a yearning to touch the world, to be in the world from this place, drove me. So I'll entertain you with a little bit of history. My first job where I could appear as my whole self. And let me turn off the blurring here. They were a very patient crew. When I showed up at 16 and 17 wanting to work in a camera store. But going to art college, I learned a few tricks for style and grace. And with the help of my high school friends, we got busy creating movies or started to work out other ideas of fashion. So I gradually moved from this economy and this location over to Vancouver, where I met a new crew, worked in a newspaper business, developed some style, and eventually made my way to Prague. When I came to the West Coast, I eventually started working with geological scientists, and that was fantastic. And as soon as that was achieved, there was some money coming in, I was doing work that was mentally rewarding, the ennui set in. And I needed to somehow grow beyond my bonds so that my vision could truly become world embracing. And that led to Prague, where I worked in software development. But always at every step along the way, there's the presence of neurotype. There's the presence of autism. My particular autistic nature gifted me with the ability to freak out my grade school teachers by imagining scenarios when we're told to close our eyes and imagine this. I could do it with my eyes open. So immediately that developed a reputation at the tender age of 7. But it's gifted me the ability to imagine. My younger brother and I would look at the stars and say, what could we become? Is there life on other planets? And that somehow got folded into developing technology, because the tools that I'm using now allow me to create worlds. But creating worlds is not yet enough. With that, you still need to make some kind of contribution in the world. In my very early years, I grew up on military housing on a base in Canada. And my dad's a very responsible person who filled the house in the backyard with beauty, as well as being responsible to his own obligations. So how can I begin to fuse this world-embracing desire with a desire to create worlds with a need to create something that matters to the world at hand? That is a boon of autism, but it's also a ceiling, because there does come a moment within a regular workplace where people start to catch on. They start to understand how you're shaped emotionally and mentally. they start to find ways to kind of push your boat a little bit off to the side, which eventually can lead to losing a job or losing a vocation or a lifestyle. So I returned to Halifax. Now, the pandemic had ensued. I was building these virtual worlds, but it was a life going around a bit in circles. And then suddenly SingularityNET dropped into my lap through Carbix. They called me up and said, hey, there's this proposal thing going on. I was advertising virtual worlds. Do you want to put together a proposal? So I tried it and said, okay, well, this will never work because in Canada, proposals are difficult to fund. But it did. And that opened up an entirely new real vista where you're creating technologies that can help define a future that's beneficial. You have an environment or a community that's open and welcoming to the arts, to music, to visual art, to different cultures and languages. And so within this window, I get to communicate with yourselves and participate with yourselves and fuse these virtual worlds with something that is even more demanding, trying to understand how to build artificial intelligence, working with people who know the math and statistics and the techniques of doing this. One thing I've been able to do, fortunately, is create interesting teams. And within SingularityNET, that's certainly proven itself to be true. So the arc for myself started before the internet, went all the way across the country, back across the country, over the water to another continent, to Europe, back to Canada amid the pandemic, and then into this future world where SingularityNET has provided an opportunity to help define that within whatever my skills and interests are, to work with other people like yourself to accomplish that. And I think in that sense, we can really take faith in the fact that SingularityNET's vision is true. It is happening. It is creating step by step what I hope to be a beneficial future world. And I'll just leave off with a picture from Shubenacadie Wildlife Park, the beginning of a photographic journey. And the development of coolness in Czech Republic. So I have tens of thousands of photos, so I will stop there. And I hope you've enjoyed my speech of life, the universe, and everything.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ken. I really appreciated also the pictures. Really nice. Really nice.
Thank
No,
you.
but it
Yeah,
was
they keep me humble.
but it was amazing. Thank you. It was really nice to hear your story, to your journey. And as I've mentioned to you personally, it's an inspiration. You know,
Thank you.
We keep moving in life, keep believing, don't give up on dreams, and somehow we'll find our way and we'll find our opportunities. And sometimes you'll find like-minded people to be able to follow these dreams and to make things happen. And we hope to give a little bit of that here in Deep Funding, in SingularityNET, in this community. So yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm very excited to see what comes next with the next BGI round of funding and the projects involved there.
Yes, thank you, Ken. You have Judith here. I don't know if it's a question or a remark, but please.
Yeah, it's a question. I've been following this project for a while. I love this so much. And I mean, you're an incredibly talented artist. I mean, unbelievable. I was just wondering if you could give us a few examples of immersive experiences that you've already built, or maybe some clients that you've worked with. Give us an idea of what you can do, or what you have been doing specifically.
Okay. Well, the first project, of course, began with the Carbix metaverse, which is a little bit controversial. It was very heavily weighted towards the visual side of things. Within that, we tried to develop an adaptive learning algorithm, some speech to text, and get a start on American Sign Language. And American Sign Language is fascinating. People have been working on that for decades. It's a multimodal language. So what came out of that for me was, first of all, an opportunity to work with carbon capture technologies, an opportunity to figure out how I could create a more nonverbal communication within artificial life forms or within avatar life forms. So in this case, I was able to start layering up based on Boolean triggers, different kinds of behaviors for body language, gestures, and facial language, along with lip sync. And that can go further with the application of artificial intelligence to try and generate real communication tied to natural language processing on the fly. That would be the next step for this. So within it, we're able to figure out how attractive and beautiful can we make the interaction to take it beyond a 2000 or 2010 style of interaction. Now, for myself, my background is in photography as well. So being visual, being a photographer, very sensitive to how you can use light and shadow to draw attention. So I tried to bring that into these moments in the metaverse as well. Behavior, presentation, and light, and innovative carbon capture technologies, which of course is important to us all. Most recently, I was working with Kamani Kibatu, who created the machine learning algorithms for flood prediction based on a very useful data set from Bangladesh that looks at about 50 or 60 years of flood history in a low-lying country that has the most rivers of any country in the world. So he developed the algorithm and API for flood prediction based on that and based on the next few days of weather reports. And I began to apply it to an environment that could be used for instruction, to be used for training of first responders and training of citizens. And this worked out nicely because by setting an environment, I could take that flood prediction algorithm and apply it to a completely different world. In this case, kind of an Americana Main Street. Now, the actual accuracy of the flood prediction needs data sets, so we can begin adding more and more locations like Toronto or Prague or Carolinas, the Gulf of Mexico, for example. But this is a beginning to it. Within this, using an avatar of a first responder and another avatar of an older lady who, and I'll switch over here, an older lady who exhibits symptoms of mental confusion, something like Alzheimer's or another affliction. Then this scenario taking place within a flood situation based on actual data can also become a teaching tool for first responders and citizens like myself to say, how can I speak to someone who's a bit on edge and a bit confused? In this scenario, you can speak to the first responder, ask them questions using LLMs and ChatGPT, go to the woman who's experiencing confusion, ask if she has anyone looking after her. She'll say her condition based on that role, and then go back to the first responder and say, this lady here has family, but she's confused. The first responder then, surprisingly, comes back and says, well, stay with her, we'll find someone to help. All based on LLMs. So this points the way towards making useful tools, even out of language models. As we move forward towards more of an AGI or more of a neurosymbolic type of intelligence representation, I hope that we can have more faithful personalities, expressions, and advice.
Wow, thank you for sharing. And one more question. If a construction company would approach you and say, we want a 5-day training course for our construction workers, that's obviously something you could do, like a virtual reality construction course. Are you at a stage where you could deliver this fairly fast, or is this something that takes 3 months, 6 months, a year? Like, how quickly can you deliver on these virtual experiences?
I'm glad you asked that. I'm working with a colleague who is originally from Prague and is now in warm, sunny Florida. We've built a backend that's as simple to use as a word processor, where you can input your script, a role for an avatar, and a dialogue, as well as your own PowerPoint, video, and other material. And within 1 or 2 hours, I can create an environment that provides, say, a construction style instruction scenario, lesson scenario, based on that inputted text. So this is the first one. It was called coastal flooding. So within this case, it's this technology taken further, where a person who's new to construction can receive an introduction. And it's called Train VR, virtual reality trainings. The avatar will deliver the script saying, "Welcome to construction. I know you're considering a career." The LLM can then provide conversational questions. And I've been able to go from taking 6 months to create a metaverse style experience to being able to build one between 2 and 4 hours. So we're able to rapidly accommodate different styles of instruction and sales. And that's become the nucleus for a new business and hopefully further development as well.
Wow, impressive. This is $1 billion business. I mean, everyone needs to use this. I'm wishing you like the utmost success with this.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Having done the research, it truly is a billion and growing industry. It's around 10 billion now and will reach 49 billion. There are advantages in terms of reducing risk and liability. 20% of fatalities from fire training happen in training. And this allows a person to work on muscle memory. It allows them to develop at their own pace. You can create multiple different scenarios. So in that sense, it's future-proof, it's depthful, and it's also technologically innovative. Yeah.
Great.
And this is an example of the latest one as well.
Oh, let me see how.
Here the so I'll skip to the base here and freeze it for a moment. Here the instructor is reciting information from Train VR that's all entered via a word processor. They speak their script. The televisions are populated with a person's already existing lesson material, and then you can engage in conversation afterwards. And within that, we've also done it for coastal flooding. This is an example of the interface you use. It's like a word processor. It appears on a virtual iPad. Then you can speak to the avatar within this environment. And this becomes a situation where I'm focusing more on what is the emotional impact? What are decisions you need to make quickly? How can you practice them? So rather than stopping and starting an instructional process, this unfolds in a free exploratory universe. You can move anywhere and find or work with a dog to find someone who's underneath the rubble, to administer first aid, to console people, to practice your own skills in first aid as well. So my goal is to bring that level of detail and complexity and emotional effect into these worlds that match virtual environments with artificial intelligence.
It's so impressive how good the graphic design looks already at this stage. I can only imagine what it looks like in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but this is already so amazing. Really well done. Thank you very much. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time and your kind encouragement.
Yeah, thank you, Kenn, and thank you, Judith, for the questions. And yeah, definitely, it's great to see your work, great to see your journey. So thank you for having the bravery to share it as well.
You're very welcome, and thank you to SingularityNET and your community for making this possible over a long term to accomplish.
All right, awesome. So I think now we can go to a great opportunity for the overall community, a great challenge, hopefully. And I think, is it you, Judith, or is it Ubio who's going to tell us a little bit more about AI4Peace? Or maybe it's Andrea, I'm not sure.
I'm happy to do it, unless Ubio or Andrea want to jump in. All right, that's silence, I suppose. That means go do your job. Okay. All right, so 2 days ago, we launched our first dualathon, and it's the first RFP ideation challenge that Deep Funding is running, and the second part is a AI4Peace hackathon. So let me give you a quick overview. The AI4Peace RFP ideation challenge will run for 4 weeks. So you have an entire month to submit any ideas that promote world peace, individual well-being, interpersonal harmony, or environmental balance. I mean, there's so much you can do with this topic, AI for peace. I mean, endless possibilities. So in the RFP ideation challenge, we are just looking for ideas. You do not need to know how to build the project. You're not obligated to build the project. We're just looking for ideas that could become RFPs. There will be a certain number of winners selected. We do not know yet. It really depends on how many proposals we will be receiving, but the winners will receive a prize money of $500 in HIX for the idea. And if your idea gets selected to become an actual RFP, you will receive another $1,000 in HIX. Some of the ideas that we will receive during the challenge will also be used as tracks for our upcoming hackathon. The hackathon will run from, let me get your dates, April 21st till April 28th. And hackathon registration starts on March 31st. So yeah, this is live. We're hoping that a lot of you will submit ideas or will be interested in participating in a hackathon. It's such an incredibly important topic. I would say the most important topic. I mean, what's more important than peace on this planet? We need it in every corner of the world. So let us know if you have any questions regarding the RFP ideation challenge or regarding the hackathon. We will put out a lot more communications over the next few weeks, and we're hoping that many of you will participate.
All right. Thank you, Judith. I know you're working on communication, but just a question that I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Do you already have any link or anything that we could share? I've already shared the link to the RFP ideation page where you can already create your ideas. Do you think is there any other important link we should share?
No, this will be the most important link for now. So on the RFP ideation page, you will see a little banner at the top where it says RFP ideation challenge, AIForPeace challenge. And then on that banner, there should be a button that says learn more. So there's a document linked to that for anyone that wants to know all the details. But yeah, I think it's an incredibly cool initiative by Deep Funding, because where else do you get paid $500 just for an idea? Come on, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's an idea that can change the world, right? If it brings peace. So 500 is good. No, but yeah, that's true. And a nice topic with a positive impact in the world. And also congratulations to you and to the Dev Outreach, because I think doing an hackathon on this is a really great way to bring more ideas and also, support people in the execution of these ideas. Ubio, you have your hand up.
Yeah, let Ken come up first, because I just want to speak to the hackathon part of it.
All right, awesome. Kenn, please.
Thank you, Ubio. I was just going to ask, when does this begin, and when will the decisions be made? What is the time span for your amazing project for peace?
So for the RFP ideation challenge, it has launched on March 18th. So that was 2 days ago, and it will run for 4 weeks. And then the announcements would follow that week. It would be the week after, likely.
Well, congratulations. It's really timely, and I'm so grateful you're creating something of this nature. That's world embracing.
Furkan?
Hello guys, how are you? I've been on the call from the start. Oh wait, I can just turn this on actually. Hey guys. Oh my god, I look so bad in my hair.
Hey.
First of all, the ideation part, I'm looking forward to that. I just wanted to quickly follow up on the previous RFPs, the ones that we had for community hubs. I just quickly wanted to follow up on that just to see where we are at that. also a quick update. I did update in the chat, but I just wanted to come up and just tell everyone too that I am close to like 2 universities in Utah, like 2 biggest ones in Utah in the States. That's one, BYU and UVU, and I've gone to both of them. One of the good news is that BYU has, I would say, a decently sized AI social circle. So that was very encouraging towards me, and they are looking for new ways to integrate different ecosystem. They were also very excited about ASI, and so I see a lot of potential over there, building on some of the baselines over there. And then on the UVU side, I see even more potential because they have students who are in AI and generally in tech, but there's like the AI circle is like non-existent. So I just wanted to ask a question, give a quick update. That's me.
Yeah, all right. I think that question is good for me. Yeah, we're in the final review stage. We are getting also some informations about some projects for Kenn, but also you can I don't know if I can I don't think I have your contact. I was saying that we could also speak in DMs also about the opportunities you have with the universities. I'm not sure you're in Mattermost or what you prefer in terms of contacts, but we can send you an email.
Yeah, I can do Telegram too. I'm actually just dropping my Telegram. It's literally just my name.
All right, awesome.
Rafael, generational wealth. I like the vision, brother.
You have my you
Yeah,
already have
I
my
just tagged you
Telegram?
in the
Okay,
group.
awesome.
So
Cool.
Kenn, I just want to add, I think one of the easiest way to start the onboarding for these students is actually to tell them about this ideation RFP. I think it's the simplest and cheapest way for people to onboard, while we have other funding mechanisms that are coming up and will keep coming up. But I think one of the ideas we had with the challenge is to make something that is extremely low barrier. People just come in, put in their ideas, and maybe we can just test the waters over there. I think that would be a pretty nice place to test.
I agree with that. Like I can start with that, but yeah, what I wanted to do is like, these people have no idea about SingularityNET or deep funding. I mean, until I actually start talking to them. So I can try and share this as well. Honestly, that's a very good idea. Yeah, I can do that. Let's see what kind of results
and I
we
think
get.
there is possibility to do more. I think Rafael will contact you. I would also want to contact you to see what we can achieve. But again, I'm just saying some of the stuff we may want to do more may take a longer time. But at least right now, what is the simplest stuff to do right now could be just to tell them about this, and yeah, we can start from there.
Yeah, there's more nuance to that, but we can talk off of this call. But I just wanted to quickly come in and say hi, show my bad hair, and yeah, just wanted to ask that question. But I appreciate you guys. I'll be on the.
No, appreciate you as well coming up and asking your questions and talking. That's what this town hall is about. So thank you for Kenn. And don't forget what Kenn said. At least you have hair.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Ubio, you wanted to add some more infos, right, about the hackathon?
Yeah. I just wanted to say that we are pioneering something very unique. So first, we're doing the whole ideation challenge and then tying it up to into a hackathon. So we call it dualathon, right? I think that's quite unique. We've not had anything like that. This is the first time where we are doing an idea challenge that fits as a track for the hackathon itself. So just like Kenn asked, we are going to be announcing the winners in less than a week from when the ideation challenge closes. And then the winners, whatever ideas have been selected, would now form tracks that the hackathon will be built on, right? So people that will be innovating or hacking will be hacking based on the ideas that have been produced. So that's why we call it a dualathon, something very unique. whereby the ideas itself is crowdsourced and then based on the crowdsourced idea, we now put it to the community to hack, and then based on that, we will now bring up the top winners. We are going to announce the prize for the hackathon and every other thing. I'm just trying to say that the ideation challenge is just a start, right? And so whichever spectrum of the conversation you're interested in, whether you just want to give in your ideas or you want to hack, or you are interested in both, or you know people that would be interested, you can be of help to us in any of this spectrum.
And what's really nice as well is that you can submit your idea for an RFP and get awarded for it. And then if it gets selected as an RFP, what also could happen is that you can actually get involved in the development of the RFP, which is also really, really nice. And that would be then awarded extra. But there's no, how do you say it? It's not a requirement to get involved in the development. So the idea is also just as good, but it's nice. So you can get involved in multiple stages if you want, or just in the idea. But this is great because now we're having opportunities for people that may not be very great builders, or maybe they're not AI developers at all, but they can still contribute just with their ideas.
Yep, I think so. That's a good idea, and ideas are important for sure. Abdul, please, great to hear you. Please.
Thank you, Rafael. And thank you everybody here that has been presenting all while. It's very quite interesting and insightful. I quickly just want to ask a question based on what Judith just said now, that if an idea gets selected, you could possibly be part of the RFP development team. I just want to ask, should that not be a kind of an automatic qualification to part of the team, if possible? Just a question of perhaps a suggestion to make it more interesting and attractive. Like, for instance, somebody idea gets selected, that person to have a kind of an automatic qualification to be part of those people that will be developing the RFP stuff. So I just want to ask, perhaps, take it as a suggestion if it's to be put into considerations. Yeah.
Sorry, I could visually, auditorily not hear anything because there's a huge storm outside my window. I could barely hear you, unfortunately. Could you repeat the question?
Okay. Thank you very much. Can you hear from me now? Is it better now?
Is it better, Judith, or no?
It barely comes through. Can you type it in the chat, Rafael?
Okay. Let me do the chat. It will be better.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
This storm has been going on for days, and it's currently so loud that I barely hear anything.
All right, thank you, Abdul Rahman. We'll wait for your for your question in the chat. And yeah, thunderstorm. And a lot of
It's
wind and
supposed to
things flying.
thunderstorm. It's currently ruining our entire beach and taking away all the sand. I think after the few days of storm, there will be about 50% of the beach is probably gone. Which is sad, but it happens during the winter storms every year. So is the...
All right. So yeah, I don't know if anyone was able to fully understand the question of the Abdul Rahman. I know he was talking about the ideation RFP process and about how your idea is selected, and then what's the process about getting involved into the RFP, but I didn't quite understand the exact question as well.
It's going to be selected via a RFP ideation selection team, which we already have in place. And my question or perhaps suggestion is that if an idea is selected to be developed as an RFP, I'm suggesting that the proposer should be automatically be part of the development team. Yeah, but they may not want to be part of the development team because it will take a lot of time and effort. Maybe not everyone has the capacity to do it, but definitely we will reach out to the person that suggested that submitted the idea to ask if they would like to be part of the development team, but I don't think we can force them to be part of it. So it will be a question. It's not going to be an automatically now you're part of a development team period. I don't think we can do that, but yeah, they will definitely have the opportunity to be part of the development team.
Yeah, also, I think that this is explained, Abdul Rahman, if you go there to the link we shared, that part of the RFP process is explained there in the Learn More. And it's also basically when the committee or the people that are reviewing the RFP are making a decision, they also decide whether, they just want to invite the proposer, or if it's a very complex topic, they might open it up for other people to apply to create the RFP. So you can have also a competition in terms of who is creating the RFP, and then it can be the person who proposed it, or it can be someone else, depending on qualifications and depending on what people say they are planning to do. So you have the different scenarios that are related to the type of RFP you're suggesting. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it may also be the case that the person that is suggesting the RFP idea literally just has the idea, and not only don't they have the capacity to develop it, maybe they also have absolutely no knowledge on how to develop it, or maybe it was just an idea, but they really don't have a very good idea of how it's supposed to look like. We don't know.
And that's a very interesting insight, Judith, because we are not expecting ideators to be technical people or experts in any particular technology or knowledge. You can just have an idea and say, this sounds good. I'm coming to town halls for years, and I think this would help, So go there and make it, submit your idea, and then the group which we are forming now will judge and assess and give a result for that idea, if it's approved or not. If it's approved, you will get the reward. Another interesting perspective is for everyone to have this in perspective is why we created this ideate in RFPs. It's because initially our regular rounds, they used to have different pools, marketing and so on. Even miscellaneous, we put it in the last round, for anyone to go there and say and propose whatever they want. And now the regular rounds are going into a technical and actually a new projects, new services approach. And we are willing, but we still want to hear from you. What do you think it's important for the deep funding as a community? It can perhaps not even be a technical solution. This is very important as well. It can be a marketing idea or a community idea or something like that. Okay, this is also important. However, we are talking about two slightly different things here. One is the challenge, the AI4Peace, which is aimed for technical solutions in AI. And the general framework for ideas in RFPs, okay, which can come in various phases or formats in this sense. So again, two different approaches, okay? But you can go in any direction you want. Even if you are not an AI expert, but you have a good idea, you can go to the challenge and propose the idea. And if it's selected, it's $500.
Yeah, regular RFP ideation, as Rafael said, is still open, but you're going to be competing against a lot more ideas. That's why the challenge is also cool. They're quick. They're just a few weeks. We're probably not going to receive as many proposals as in the regular RFP ideation because that's ongoing and it doesn't have a cutoff date. So weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of RFP ideation proposals can be submitted, and then maybe we have hundreds. I don't know. But for the challenges, yeah, you're likely competing against less people. Plus, there's also winners guaranteed. For the challenges, it's guaranteed that someone is a winner, that someone gets awarded, whereas the regular RFP ideation, it is not guaranteed that any RFP ideas get awarded. I mean, I'm sure there will be a lot of great ideas coming in, but I mean, it could be that all the ideas that are coming in regular RFP ideation are in fact low quality or really bad. We're not going to award something that's not great. We're not going to award something just for the sake of awarding. So if there's nothing good coming in, nobody will get awarded. Whereas for the challenge, there will be a winner, minimum one, likely more. So, yeah.
All right, so yeah, check it out, participate, and bring your best ideas. Sleep on it, and bring your best ideas, of course.
And change the world while doing it.
Yeah, strong words to wrap up this town hall, unless one has anything to say and to add. But yeah, if not, thank you all for being here. And let's participate in governance. Wednesday, 2 p.m. UTC, open all ends call. We would love to see you there. Thank you to all the presenters. It was great having so many different voices and so many, such a variety of topics. And we hope to see even more members of the community in the next town halls. So thank you, and now go think about your ideas to change the world, right, Judith?
Yes.
Well,
we have
right.
work to do.
Yeah, we do.
The world needs saving.
All right, everyone. Take care and enjoy the rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.